I want to let you know that this is a long one, mainly because I've included some special modules inside it, which is pre-recorded from my Discord. So yeah, the main thing about this challenge is to give you the essentials that you need to actually start your business and move in the right direction. Okay, so these 7 steps are crucial, so don't skip any of them, just do them. And that's pretty much it. Let's get to it. Now, first things first is setting a goal. This is the most important bit actually. Like most people usually skip the first few modules of any course because it's usually the quote unquote beginner stuff. But this is quite important because your goal will actually help you stay focused because you're working on something. So the first thing I want you to do obviously is to set a goal, and it should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So it needs to be specific. You can just say get a client. Okay, get a client is specific but not specific enough. So get a client by this date, or get a $200 client, or whatever it is. So I want you to set 2 goals: one that you want to achieve by the end of this challenge, and the second one, what you want to achieve with the business that you build during this challenge. So it could be, by the end of this challenge, I want to set up my business and send my first 20 messages to potential clients, or set up my business and sign a client, or whatever. And then what do you want to achieve with your business? I want to make 100,000 shillings every single month, or in my first month of working in the business, I want to make 20,000 plus. Could be something like that. Okay, once you have that, just write those goals down and keep them visible. That's it. This is the simplest first step that you can take. All right, step 2, create your productivity system. Now, it's actually quite important to have a productivity system because you want to stay organized and be able to work even when you don't want to work, because a productivity system is quite literally something that helps you manage your time effectively. And like anytime you don't feel like working, you have this system behind you that tells you, okay, you need to be doing this if you want to achieve this. Trust me, when you see that the only way to achieve your goal is to actually do these tiny tasks, then you're going to end up doing them, because if you don't, then it just means you don't achieve your goal. And if you're serious about this, then that is something that you want. All right. So to help you with this, I've prepared an exclusive module that you can only access inside our Discord community. It's a visual thing, so seeing it in action will make it easy for you. So I can't really type out what you need to do. I need to actually show you. Okay. By the end of this, you should find a method that suits you and set up your productivity system. Okay. So I'm going to get my editor Ashley to cue the video. Alright, so welcome to the next module, the system that forces success. So I'm here to tell you that motivation is bullshit because it comes and goes, okay? Discipline is actually where the money's at. See, when you're motivated one day, you do it maybe another day, and then that's it. Like, you have a New Year's resolution, you stick to it for the first 2 days, and then you break it, and then you completely stop doing it, okay? If you want to have something in your life that you can keep doing over and over again, even when you don't want to do it, then you need to build a system, and that system is a productivity system. A productivity system runs on discipline. It can't run on motivation, because you'll do it day 1, day 2, and then it stops working. But if you do it with discipline, it means you can do it over and over again without ever, stopping. Trying to get rich means doing shit you don't want to do when you don't want to do it consistently, because there are things that you definitely don't want to do, like outreach. Nobody wants to be told no all the time, or nobody wants to send a bunch of messages every single day, but that is what it takes for you to get a client. So you have to do it whether you want to do it or not, and you have to do it consistently. For you to be able to do that, you can't rely on motivation, because motivation runs dry after the first 2 days. You have to rely on discipline, and discipline is only as strong as the system behind it. Okay, so let me tell you for a fact, I'm lazy as fuck. I'm not gonna lie, but the only way I actually get to do the things that I need to do, like finish everything in my to-do list, is essentially having a productivity system, and I'm gonna show you how to build that. Okay. Yeah. So it's not every day that I feel like working, and that just happens a lot. But I just work regardless, because I have systems built to kind of push me towards doing the work. Okay. The most successful entrepreneurs are the ones who show up every single day, regardless of their moods. If you let your moods dictate whether you'll work or not, you're going to stay stagnant and you won't get anything done. So the key is to remove decision fatigue, which means when you wake up, you shouldn't be deciding what you want to work on. Your system should tell you exactly what needs to happen and when. Okay, so first we figure out what you need to do, and then we help you do it. Simple. Let me show you how to set this up step by step. Now I'm going to give you an asset doc, which is going to have these things. Just come to cost assets and then click on standard assets and then click on prioritization system. Open it up and it looks like this. So this system allows you to map out your journey and identify what you need to prioritize first to achieve your goals faster. Now I've put 3 priorities. Don't have more than 3. Just have, actually, if you can have just 1, that's great. If you need 2, fine. If you need 3, that's a maximum. Okay. So priority 1 is make 100K. Okay. Let's just say that's priority 1. Priority 2 is build a brand. I'm just gonna put 2 priorities for now. Okay. So the main goal is to obviously make 100K per month. So consistently. Okay. The next thing is get 5K followers. Okay. Now for the roadmap, you put the steps that you need to take to actually achieve the goal. So the first thing is pick a skill, create an offer, and then do outreach. The thing for building a brand is pick a platform, create content, promote it. Let's just say that is the roadmap. Okay, this is some basic things that I've just thought of for the purpose of this demonstration. And then the bottleneck. The bottleneck is what is stopping you from doing it. Okay, so what is the problem that you can face when trying to do these things? So picking a scale is you have no idea what works. And then creating an offer, the problem could be you suck at offers. Okay, the next thing is doing outreach is no responses. For getting 5K followers, picking a platform, the problem is you want to try them all. 2, for creating content is you suck at content. And then promoting it is you don't know how. Now here's where it actually gets interesting. First steps to solve bottlenecks. So what is the solution to your problems? We can take one problem at a time and build solutions for it, depending. If the solution is just one thing, then that's fine. But if it's more than one thing, just start with one solution at a time. So for this, you have no idea what works. The solution to this is watch 100K launch modules. Perfect. You'll know exactly how to do it. The next thing is you suck at offers. Same thing, watch 100K launch modules. The other thing is no responses. So for no responses is write 5 outreach messages and test them. So we have 2 things. So if you watch 100K launch modules, you can be able to delete this, and in turn, you have just solved this too. And then if you do this right here and get a winning response, winning outreach message, you can delete this and in turn delete that. And then you can now delete part of your roadmap like that, do outreach. And then now that you know how to do that, now what's next with your roadmap? Get one client, service them, whatever, put that in your bottleneck. What could be the problem about getting a client? What could be the problem about getting them results? And then do the same thing, right? Steps to solve the bottleneck. And you keep going and going until you hit this goal. Once you hit this goal, delete this and start again with a new goal. So it's the same for this. You want to try them all. That just means you need to research on which one matches your skills best. You suck at creating content. Watch YouTube videos teaching you how to create the simplest of content to start. You don't know how to promote it, then learn how to do social media marketing. Okay, so it's simple. This is how I visualize my issues. Like if I have a goal, I just write it here. I do the roadmap and then I put the bottlenecks, like what could go wrong, right? Or what is it that I don't know how to do that is stopping me from going through that step of the roadmap? That is a bottleneck. And then I write the steps that are going to help me solve the bottleneck. If you don't know this, just ask your GPT using this AI prompt that I just gave you. It's gonna give you the exact steps that you actually need to take. That's what's cool about that AI. All right, so that is how you do it. Now that you know what you need to do, you need to now know when to do it. For your solutions, you just take your first solution because it's kind of like a task you need to complete, right? So you first take your first solution and take it to your Google Calendar, add it to your task, and then put it on your calendar. So, for example, if you're researching which social media platform to start with, maybe this could be your task, and then you can just drag it. Today's Sunday. You can maybe schedule it on Monday at 6 a.m. Right? And then the good thing about this is that this is inbuilt to your Google Calendar. So you can just come and mark it as complete and it's gonna cross itself out. Now I'm going to show you how to set this up real quick. Alright, so once you open your Google Calendar, if you've never used it, it looks something like this. It's all blank and stuff. Okay, so how you're going to set this up is number one, you're going to click this little icon right here. It's for your tasks. Just click it so you can open it. And then you can put your tasks right here. But if you still want to see your calendar, just go back to the calendar icon and then you can use this right here. It's like, I don't know if you guys can see it. Damn, you guys can't see it. Okay, it's on the side. It's on the side. All right, so it's like this. It's this in blue. Okay, so you click it, then it's gonna open. It's actually right here. Here, I click this, and then it opened my task list. The first thing is you will probably just have this my tasks by itself. What I want you to do is look at the goals that you've put right here. So your goal one is maybe make 100K. Your goal two, build a brand. You can just come click the drop down, create a new list, and name it your goal. So every single task that you have here, the solutions that you're trying to do, you're gonna put it under the specific goal just to keep it organized. All right. So you can see you can have my business or my personal life or wherever. So let's go to my business. Now the first thing is to pick a time that you want to wake up. Now if you come to the failure response and go to the productivity system, you can see that I've given you guys wake up times, times you need to do your work, depending on you as a person. So we have the morning person who wakes up at 5:45, starts work at 6, gets done by 8, and then does something fun before bed by 9. And then we have the people who are night owls who wake up at 9:45 and sleep by 1. I mean, I'm clearly awake past 1 because I feel like I'm a night owl, but I'm trying to do the morning person routine, mainly because when you're a night owl, it kind of disrupts your day, especially if you live with your family or you do stuff with your friends during the day. You'll find that you're sleep deprived because you have to wake up earlier to do random shit. But if you're a night owl and you're absolutely not a morning person, you can tweak this and find the best time for you to wake up. But always put your highest priority task when you're most alert. So you can see I've put the deep creative time between 8 and 12. So I'm alert right now. Like this is me at 100%. So this is the time that I've put to film this because this is when I am most alert. Okay, so you can use this to build your calendar. All right, let me show you how that will look like. Fix that. Okay, so for example, let's go with the morning person. Oh yeah, and if you are not the two and you're like a parent or you have an unpredictable schedule, then you can easily just use this to create your own schedule. Okay, so go through that and do what I do. So the first thing is wake up time, 5:45 to 6 a.m. I'm just gonna come here. I'm gonna find 5:45 to 6 a.m. It's like right there, 6 a.m. I'm gonna mark that as wake up. I'm gonna save it and then I'm gonna change this to repeat daily. Save. That's it. Now every day wake up at 5. And then the next thing is 6 to 10 deep work 1. So 6 to 10 a.m. That's around here. I'm just gonna write deep work, deep work, deep work 1. Alright, and then daily. So it does that. The next thing is 10 to 11, which is a break. So 1 hour. And just write break, save, go back to it so that you can do this daily right there. And then the next thing we have is deep work 2, which is 11 to 3. This is typically when you would have your meetings. Okay. And we're gonna do that as daily. Daily. Right there. Let's continue. 3 to 4, break. So 1 hour. 3 to 4. Break. And I wanna make this go daily. the easiest way to build your calendar. 4 to 8 learning. So 4 to 8. That is definitely not 4 to 8 learning. Okay. And then the next thing is 8 to 9. Do something fun before bed. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter what it is, just unwind. You don't want to always work all the time. Coming for someone who worked all the time for a while. We make it pretty. Now everything is on your main calendar. You can just come and add different calendars. So my business, so everything about the business, we're gonna turn this into, come here, change to my business, and it's gonna change the color. You can choose whichever colors you want, doesn't really matter. You can make it, just make it look good, make it look good because, you'd always like looking at your calendar. I'm gonna add another calendar. So create new calendar. I'm gonna put rest. Create the calendar. Okay, you can get out of that. You can see that we have rest right here. So I'm just gonna change all the breaks into rest. Save it. So this is like a purple vibe going on. I did not plan it. It just came. You can obviously change the colors. You can come here and change the colors to whatever colors you want. I would obviously not make my calendar look like this. Fun time, learning, and then you can have maybe another one. Personal development. Create the calendar, and then maybe you can just have personal. Good. So we can change personal dev. So that's learning. Just change that to personal dev, continue. And then fun time, we can change that to personal. One. Boom. We can also change wake up to personal. And then calls can be this. So perfect. That looks fine. Obviously, this color is way off. Just change this to something else. Maybe that something, I don't know. So I'm not about to start changing colors. You can make it whatever you want to make it. For example, you can make a blue and, I don't know, yellow color. Just like blue, yellow. Depends on what you want to do. So, all right. So the other thing that you do is now you add your tasks. I've already shown you how to add your tasks. Just drag and drop wherever you want it. When you do it, just mark as complete. You can keep your tasks in red just so it can show you the urgency. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you set everything up. And then when you have calls, obviously you can click create and click appointment schedule. You can be able to create a calendar like Calendly just straight into your Google Calendar, which is quite great because then again you can see how maybe one-on-one call, and then when you save it, it's gonna show up right here, and then you can see where your calls go. So if you have like a deep work block, you can move your calls lower so that they start on your break or they start on your deep work too. So if this is the time that you take calls, you can make your calls start from 11 and end at 3. Okay, that is how you set up a schedule, and it's pretty simple to do. Just figure out what you want to do during the day. I suggest you have 2 deep work blocks and have some learning and skill development work block in your whole thing. So it's kind of like 3 work blocks, but one of them is just for learning and developing your skill, just essentially doing things that will build your business. All right. And then deep work 1 should have your priority task when you're a morning person, because this is the thing that moves the needle in your business. And this is when you're most alert. Okay. And the time that you're most alert for the night owls, that is when you should do your hardest task. Okay. Most of the times, maybe it's just outreach. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you build a system that forces you to succeed. See you in the next one. All right, so I hope that you now understand how to build a productive system. Please use that. Like, this is something that I use till date, like something that I religiously use. Actually, for my productivity, I just use Airtable to list down my tasks and Google Calendar to schedule them. All right. Now, the third step is to pick a skill. Picking a skill is quite important because it's a foundation of a service-based business. And I made this challenge assuming that you already have a skill in mind because you've probably gone through a lot of my free stuff. So you should have a skill in mind. Okay. But if you're new here, a skill is what you'll use to generate income. And don't worry about it. I have you covered with another exclusive video available in our Discord. Honestly, at this point, it's just a flex of how good the exclusive content is. But I again need to give you the video because it's just a lot to type. All right. So this video will guide you through the process of selecting a skill that has market demand. All right. Ashley, cue the video. Okay, so welcome to the next module, which is a personal skill audit. This is for people who have not figured out what they're actually good at. And most of the times it's actually quite simple to figure it out. But if you're struggling, then this is a module for you. But also, I would want you to go through this module if you have no idea what other skills you're good at, because we'll talk about skill stacking in the next module. And you need to figure out what skills you can add to your already existing skill over time. I'm not saying just learn like a bunch of skills at the same time, over time, so that you can make your service much more desirable to people who want to pay for it. Okay, we're going to talk about it in the next module. Don't worry about it. So this is not an audit to show you what you want to be good at or to figure out what you want to be good at. It's actually what you're good at, what you're naturally good at. Because if we know what you're good at right now, we can be able to leverage it. And if absolutely you are not good at anything, then that is when you can move on to the second option, because most people actually just make money naturally with the things that they already know how to do. Okay. So grab a piece of paper and write down these three categories. 1, professional skills, things you've done in jobs. 2, personal skills, things you do in your free time. 3, knowledge areas, topics you know a lot about. So under each, list everything and don't filter yourself out. If you made a random website for your cousin, write it down. These TikTok videos that you make for fun, write it down. If you have a deep knowledge in things like fitness and, diets and shit like that, write it down. And then I want you to rate each skill from 1 to 10 on these factors. 1 is your current skill level. So, for example, professional skills, you've never done any job, throw that out. Personal skills, something you do in your free time, could be graphic design. Okay, so you just go on Canva and mess around, or go on Photoshop and mess around. Knowledge areas, topics you know a lot about, could be AI tools you can use to design. All right. So you're gonna come back here and we're gonna rate that skill from 1 to 10 using these 3 factors. 1, your skill level. 2, how much you enjoy using the skill. 3, how easily you could transfer that skill to others in form of a service. Now, there's a thing about this. You could have mentioned things like gaming and stuff like that. But if you say gaming, think about it. How can you transfer it to someone else? Because essentially a service is transferring a skill or transferring that thing to someone to help them in exchange for money, right? So how are you going to transfer that? Are you going to teach someone how to game? Are you going to game for someone and pass their levels in exchange for money? It's a bit hard when that is the only thing that you have on your list. So dig deep and find actual things that you can use. So your current skill level, let's say it's graphic design and you're like really, really good at it. You can say an 8. How much you enjoy doing the skill? You do it all the time. At 10. How easily could you transfer that skill to others in form of a service? At 10. That already tells you that that's a skill worth pursuing. Okay. Do that for each of the skills that you have. And this exercise usually reveals 3 or 5 skills that you're already good at and that could be monetized immediately. So don't just take like 2 seconds to just write random things that pop in your head. Like, force yourself to actually write a whole lot more. Like, once you're like, okay, this is my last one, force yourself to write 3 more. Okay. Now, this is a good exercise, but sometimes it may not work out for you. Maybe you have no skills that can be able to monetize. If that's the case, then just look for something that sounds good to you, either a creative business or a technical business, and then go for that. But if you're stuck on this, I have something to help you. If you just come to the failure response framework and then go to skill identification, right here. For example, the first solution is to ask someone else. So ask 3 to 5 people who know you well. What am I good at that I might not recognize? But obviously you can be like, okay, what do you think I'm good at? And then they will tell you. And what this is that other people will see your strength And it's usually the thing that you take for granted because it just seems normal to you. But to other people, it could stand out and it could help you. Just look at what people have complimented you on in the past. What tasks do people ask you for help? What do you do that seems to come easier than others? What were you doing during times when you lost track because you are so engaged, like you had deep focus doing something? Figure that out. The third solution is the skills that you use daily. So if managing your social media, maybe you post content, then you could go into content creation. You could do organic growth, right? Because you have these things, you have the skills of understanding an audience and the platform itself and content creation. You could do social media management. You could be a video editor, whatever it is. Planning your week, if you're like super, super organized, that's also service. You could become a VA, a digital business manager, DPM, whatever it is that requires you to have organization, prioritization, time management, etc. And then also explaining concepts to others. Like you find yourself explaining some concepts to people. You could be very good at teaching, communicating, and simplification. You could work with coaches who are building courses like this to simplify what's in their head, because most people who create courses are not necessarily teachers. Now that is why there are most people who are like, oh, this course is a scam, this course is a scam, because the person who's teaching you the thing isn't necessarily a teacher. They're just telling you what worked for them. Okay, so if you can come and bring in the teaching aspect to it, you too, with the knowledge and the simplification, could make the best course ever. All right, so that's something that I've never actually had somebody do, but it's totally something that you can do. Okay, you can create content teaching coaches how to teach properly. Now that you've figured out your skill, having skills is useless if nobody will pay for them. So the next thing that you need to figure out is which of your skills actually have market demand, because you may have a skill but nobody wants it. So this is how you figure it out. 3 simple steps. Go to Upwork and search for each skill on your list. Look at how many jobs are posted and the price range. This just tells you that there are people who are actively looking for the skill, for someone to provide the skill. And then check YouTube for people talking about your skill. Like if there's nobody talking about it, either you've hit a gold mine or there's no demand. All right. And the third thing is Google your skill plus freelance rate to just see what people are charging. Like, is it something worth doing? Like, if you find that there's nobody who's making more than $1,000 per month, then it's probably not a good skill. But if you can see people making 100,000, 500,000, even 1 million per month, then it's a very, very good skill. Okay. So for each skill on your list, give it a market demand score from 1 to 10. The skills with the highest combined scores from your personal audit and the market demand analysis are your money makers. That is what you should do. All right, that's it for this one. See you in the next one. Okay, so now that you have a skill, the next thing is to validate your service. Now, it's okay to have a skill, but if nobody's going to buy it, then you're failed. All right. This step is crucial because it helps you figure out whether your service is going to sell or not. You don't want to waste your time with something that won't sell. So, well, there's like a lot that goes on into this process, and I dive deeper into it in my Discord. I'll just simplify that whole thing into 2 yes or no questions. All right. With your skill in mind, just ask yourself, can you solve a problem? Like with your skill, can your skill solve a specific problem for someone? Because services that solve real problems will attract paying clients, and it will also be easy to sell. All right, so it's important that your service makes someone more money. Like, that's the best way for you to sell yourself these days. Okay, you need to have a service that, when applied, makes the business owner more money. But there's some services, technically, you just can't do that. They're just time-based services. Like, you just save them more time. That's like management, VA stuff. But like, if you think about it, there's something that you can add to that skill to help them make more money. All right. So ask yourself, for my service, what can I add to it to help a client make more money? So if it's editing, you need to know how to grow an audience organically. That's like a service that actively makes your client more money, because more growth leads to more leads, and more leads leads to more sales. All right. You see my point. If you're a web dev, then lean into conversions, because if you can create websites that convert, it means the traffic that is coming to the website will be converted into money. So that means more money for the client. All right. And this type of services are easy to sell because your unique selling point is that, hey, I'll make you more money. All right. So two is there a demand? Do people actually want the service that you're selling? If you don't know, just go to Upwork and search for your service and see how many gigs there are. And you can also go to online forums like Reddit, social media groups, and even direct conversations with potential clients. Like if you receive a no from a client, you can just ask them, oh yeah, okay, I understand, but is it okay if I ask you what is it that you actually want in your business right now? What is the biggest bottleneck or the biggest problem that you're facing in your business right now? And then based on the answers that you get, you're going to find one that is consistently showing up. And then you can choose to pivot and deal with that specifically or add that as part of your service. All right. So this is a bit more advanced, but you need to actually have demand, because if you don't have demand, then nobody's looking for your service, hence nobody's looking to buy. Right. So please answer these questions honestly. And if you find yourself answering yes to these questions, then you're on track. But if you're not, then consider tweaking your service or exploring additional ways to meet market needs. Okay. Remember, validation is about ensuring that there's a market fit for your service. So take time to get this right, because it's the first step for you to make money. Like if you pick the wrong service, no matter how good your marketing is, you're not going to land clients. So make this your priority right now. Pick the right skill, validate it, and then move on to the next step, which is finding a target market. Now that you have all this, you need to find the people who you need to sell to. And if you actually validated your service, then it should be quite logical who you'll sell to, because the person you sell to should be the person who benefits the most from your service. So the person whose problem you can solve. So understanding this will actually help you create an irresistible offer for them. If you don't know who you're selling to, how can you create an offer for them? Or how can you even find them? Because you don't know where to look for them, because you don't know who they are. Okay, so start by asking yourself a few questions. One is, who benefits most from my service? You need to think about a specific group of people or businesses that would gain the most value from what you offer. Consider the demographics such as age, gender, location, and occupation. This again is also a bit in depth, but like the basics of finding your ideal client profile. So you need to know their age range. Like for me, I already know that the people who buy my services are from 18 to about 27, maybe 30, and they live in Kenya, obviously. Their gender, mostly male, but also funny enough, actually I've gotten a lot of females. Like I didn't really think that I would, because most of the female audience are not really into online businesses, but I was wrong. I thought I was the only one. Yeah, and that wasn't like a sick sense of ego for me. It was just that in every community that I've been in, every course that I've bought, mentorship program that I've joined, every mentor that I've had, it's just been a male dominated field, and I'm glad that that's actually changing, right? So age, gender, location, and occupation. What do they do? For me, mostly it's usually students, uni students, and people doing 9 to 5. All right. So like, if you find out the people who you actually sell to, are they mostly male? Where are they located? US, UK, Canada, the first world countries, etc. What's their occupation? Now, the good thing about the occupation is that if you're selling to business owners, then the business is the occupation. So that's not really hard. You can just say, so I just sell to coaches, fitness coaches, right? And they live mostly in US, and their gender is male. Their age is 20 to 35. All right. This may seem like such a stupid thing, but like it actually helps you when it comes to identifying who you want to work with. Okay. 2 is, what are their pain points? Identify the challenges or problems that the target market faces that your service can solve. The more you understand the struggle, the better you can position your service as the solution. Okay. That's self-explanatory. 3 is where they hang out. Determine where your target market spends most of their time, because that is where you're going to find them. So if they spend most of their time on Twitter, that is where you need to go. If they spend more time on Instagram, that is where you need to go. Knowing this is the most important bit, because you won't find that your client mostly spends time on like Instagram and then you're looking for them on Twitter. Like you won't find them. Right? But if you know them, then you'll know where they hang out. And you can quite literally tell where they hang out depending on where they're most active. Like if you see that they post a lot of tweets, but they don't post a lot of IG content, then you're more likely to be able to reach them on Twitter. Right? So once you have a clear picture of your target market, here's how to identify the clients worth targeting, because not everybody is a good client, even though they're in like the industry that you're targeting. Okay. The first thing is budget. Can they actually afford premium prices? Because you don't want to target people who can't actually afford you, because because then now the problem wouldn't even be you, because they might want what you're offering, but they just can't afford you. You're just targeting, sorry to say, broke clients. You want to target people who can actually afford the price that you want to be paid, right? 2 is decision making. Can they say yes without a committee? You don't want to reach out to people who are telling you, I need to talk to HR, or I need to talk to the branch manager or whatever. Don't deal with enterprises. Deal with founder-led businesses and, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, some medium-sized businesses. You want to deal with people who you can easily reach out to, the founder or the person who's in charge of like bringing new people to the team. Okay. The next thing is value perception. Do they actually understand the value of what you offer? These people need to actually know that they have a problem, so that when you present your solution, it sounds like something that they need, right? You can't just hit up someone who doesn't value social media or doesn't think that content will actually help them with their business, like grow their business, and you just DM them and ask them if, they would want a free sample of an edit. Like, it just doesn't make sense for them. And the thing is, most of these people, you change their minds through content. But like, since you're just sending a DM to them promoting your services or offering your services, then it's hard for you to actually change their minds. So you need to find the people who understand that they need content, but they just don't know what to do or how to go about it or who to hire, right? It's going to be easy for those people to hire you because they already know that they need what you're selling. Okay. Urgency is the 4th one. Do they actually need the service now? You don't want to find people who are like, okay, we need content, but not now. We can wait till next year. They don't have that urgency. The whole reason why we're doing this is to know exactly who you're looking for, because finding clients will be easier if you know exactly who you're looking for. All right. Step 6, create your offer. So you have everything, you have your service, you have your ideal client, you already know who you want to target, but now you need something to offer them. All right. So I just want you to keep these few things in mind. Clients don't buy your services, they buy results. Okay. So keep this in mind. Your offer is what the prospect gets, and your service is what you do. So if you edit videos, that's your service. If you help clients sign an extra 10 clients through the videos that you edit, that's your offer, right? So it's a thing that you get your client, but your service is the thing that you do. So you can just reach out to people and be like, oh yeah, can I edit your content? No one's going to respond, all right? Because you have to give me an offer. Like, I'm not just gonna get a random person to edit my videos. Like, why you? I could get someone else. And especially if you're a beginner, then there's someone who's way better than you, all right? So why should they choose you and not the other person? Okay, so the offer focuses on the results that the client gets as a result of the deliverable, so as a result of what you do for them. And the service is the deliverable itself. Okay, and the next bit is to look at the 3 essential components that you would add to create a good offer. But what I want to drill in your head is that you're reaching out to people who don't know about you. They've never heard of you. So you don't want to actually just reach out to them and tell them about all the things that you can do. You want to reach out to them and tell them about what they'll get as a result of what you'll do for them. Okay, so a converting offer has 3 essential components. The first one is the claim. What specific result will they get? The second one is the guarantee. What happens if it doesn't work? And the third one is the evidence. Who else has gotten these results? And this is actually the exact sequence that goes through your prospect's mind when they see your offer. What results can I get? What if it doesn't work? Has it worked for others? Now, if you answer these 3 questions, then you're golden. Your offer is good. Okay, and I'm just going to show you a complete offer for a content marketing service. For example, the claim can be, we help businesses generate 30 plus qualified leads per month through our AI content system. So this is like a claim. This is what you say that you'll do. All right, anybody can make this. So this by itself is just, I can just lie and say I can generate 70 qualified leads per month through whatever system that I have. I can just say that. So this by itself is not the most important bit, because I feel like everybody thinks that this is the offer. This isn't the offer. The offer is all of these 3 things combined. Okay. So the guarantee is, if I don't get you at least 30 new clients in your first 90 days, we'll refund your investment. So this is taking the risk out of the client trusting you and paying you for the service. Okay. They're like, okay, it's answering this. What if it doesn't work? So what result can I get was this. You'll help them get 30 qualified leads per month through your AI content system, right? But what if it doesn't actually work? Then I'm going to refund your investment, right? So has it worked for other people? Now, at this point, when you have these two, then it becomes slightly better. You can land clients doing this. But if you answer this last thing, that's what is going to differentiate you from just a normal freelancer to someone who actually understands their businesses and is worth hiring. All right. Now, I don't expect you to actually have evidence, especially if you're new. The evidence is essentially, has it worked for other people like them? It needs to be like, okay, I'm a fitness coach and you're offering me 30 qualified leads. What if it doesn't actually work? Well, we're going to refund your investment. Okay. Sounds good. But has it actually worked for other fitness coaches? Like, they don't want to know whether it's worked for a business coach. They want to know if it's worked for a fitness coach. And that's why when we were talking about finding a target market, I was telling you to find someone who will benefit most from your service. You want to be targeting people in the same kind of like service, because once you get results for one of them, you can leverage that result to get other paying clients from the same industry. But like, if you're working with fitness people, then you're working with relationship coaches, then you're working with business coaches, it will always feel as if you have no results, because the results that you have are not relevant to them. Okay, it worked for a dating coach. What does that have to do with me? I'm a fitness coach. Has it worked for any other fitness coach? Right? So it just makes your work easier, because once you get a good case study, you can be able to get infinity clients. Okay. Yeah. So the evidence can be just like we did for Canary Hustlers, who signed 27 new clients in just 60 days. So I've answered what results they'll get, what if it doesn't work, and has it worked for others? So that is how you actually create a good offer, by adding a claim, a guarantee, and evidence supporting it. So if your offer is shit, no one will actually buy. So take time to create a good offer. Okay. Make sure that you actually give someone what they want, not what you think they want. Right? And that is why you need to actually validate your service. When you validate your service, you're going to find out what problem it can solve. And that is what you're going to eventually like put into your offer. Right? So the seventh step and the last step is actually selling your offer. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, why will you find your clients? And if you've been completing each and every step that I've given you, step 1 to 6, then you already know where to find your clients. It's where they hang out the most. All right. And you already know what to tell them or what to say to them to get them to buy your service. So the next step to actually now reaching out to them is you need to collect as many as you can before you start hitting them up. Because if you like collect one, then hit them up, collect another, then hit them up, if the first like 10 of them don't answer, you're easily just going to get discouraged. But if you collect 100 and then you make sure that you reach out to each and every one of them, regardless of what responses you get, then you've reached out to so many people. And most of the times the statistics is that when you reach out to 100 people, you're going to get about 4 responses and maybe sign 1 to 2 clients. Okay. I'm not saying that that is what is going to happen, because you might actually reach out to like 10 people and one of them answers and you land them as a client, but that's just the statistic. Okay. You can reach out to 100 people and none of them answer. But if that happens, then you just know that the problem could be what you're saying to them in the messages. Let me tell you, when you join the Discord, actually, we're going to be having weekly calls, right? In those weekly calls, you have the chance to ask me about what is going wrong in your business and I can be able to help you with that. You also have the chance to just text me your outreach message and be like, yo, I sent this to 50 people, but nobody responded. So what could be the problem? And then I look at your outreach message and I ask you, okay, who's your target audience? All right. What problem are you trying to solve? Okay. So your offer by itself is good, but your outreach message sounds like, I don't know, you have a stick up your ass. Like, you just don't sound human. I don't know why people usually mess up with outreach so much. Like, outreach is quite literally trying to make a new friend, if you think about it. And when you're trying to make a new friend, how would you actually talk to them? Like, you need to think about it that way. Like, you're trying to make a connection with someone who doesn't know you. As much as you want to be professional, don't be over professional. Like, in my outreach messages, I talk to my prospects the way I talk, because you don't want to sound so overly formal. And then when they hop on a call with you, they're like, eh. And they clearly now know that you use ChatGPT to write your outreach message. And outreach messages should not actually be overcomplicated. You can just be like, yo, I just saw this and I loved it. And I thought maybe if I give you this, it would, do this. Let me actually open up. This is like one module that I have inside my course, 100K launch. You can also get it inside the Discord. Essentially, what I say is how to write a cold DM that actually converts in 3 steps. So the first step is to offer a free lead magnet. So something for free, right? And then the next thing is to personalize your DM. And then the next thing is to weave in a guarantee. Now, the whole thing, you can quite literally just say, look at, yo, just watched your most recent video about using blah, blah, blah. And you crashed that, bro. I dropped a sub for you. This is good. Like, this is personalized. You're not giving cheap compliments like, yo, I love your work, but you could do this. that sucks. Okay. I've actually put an example for you to show you how to add a free lead magnet to personalize your DM and within a guarantee or a case study. Now here it is. Number one is to personalize your DM. All right. So make it human. Show that you actually care about them, or that you've done your due diligence to actually look at their business and see what it's about. You don't want to be one of those people who's offering someone, yo, I can help you, I can edit videos for your YouTube and help you get your first 1,000 subscribers, and this person has over 100k subs. Like, you don't want to be that guy. So do your due diligence. Like, once you get those people, you collect the leads. When you're collecting the leads, you're not just randomly picking people from the internet. They need to have something that actually makes them money in the first place. So if they don't have an offer, then how are you going to make them more money if they're not selling? But if they have an offer, then that means you have a chance to help them make more money, right? It's like logic. Okay, so when you personalize your DM, just take 5 minutes to look at their brand, okay? To look at their online presence so that you know what to say to them. So, for example, yo, I just watched your recent YouTube video about using AI to write scripts. You crushed that, bro. I dropped a sub for you. Simple. Like, just sounds normal. And then 2 is to offer a lead magnet. I clipped up 15 seconds of the video and turned it into a reel. So you've just done the work without asking them, which is good. Like, you don't want to be like, oh yeah, can I clip 15? Just do it. Just do it. Don't ask them. Just do it. If you don't need the input to be able to do the free thing for them, just do it and then offer it to them in your first message. And then the third one, if you've noticed, that was meant to be within a guarantee or case study, but I do realize that most of you guys don't have it, so I just switched that to other CTAs. It works the same way for weaving the guarantee or case study. Essentially, a case study is results you've gotten for someone similar to them, and a guarantee is like a quote-unquote no strings attached. Okay, if you want to use the thing that I've created for you, you don't have to actually pay me. Just let me know if it's worked and I would be glad to do more for you. Something like that. And for example, for this, we give them like a 15-second video. If they want to use it, you can just tell them, feel free to use this video. And if it actually performs better than your other videos, then hit me up and I'll be glad to do more. So that's just inviting them to come back and admit that your video is good, because then you can hop on a call with them and then offer them your service and tell them, yo, I can create more of this for this amount per month. That's it. So yeah, you can add a CTA instead, and a CTA is a call to action. Like, what do they do after reading your message? You don't want to leave it open-ended. So you can ask, would you mind if I share it with you here? Something like that. If they say yes, just know that they're interested with what you have to offer. So you just send the video and then follow up. Okay. You can just send them the video and then add the guarantee that I've just said, that they're free to use the video with no strings attached. Okay. So the aim is to actually just get them on a call with you so that you can be able to sell your service, right? So that marks the end of our free 7-step online business challenge. If you're looking for more in-depth info on how to start and grow your business to over 100,000 shillings per month, I highly recommend that you join our premium Discord. It's packed with exclusive content, resources, and a community of like-minded individuals who are all on the same journey, and you get priority access to me, obviously. So click the link below to join the Discord.